And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the BAM Sports Show. I'm your host, Blake. It is Tuesday, September 13th. Overreaction Tuesday because we don't fucking film on Mondays. Tonight, I'm joined, as always, with my guy, Ryan. What's up, buddy?
What up?
And the rare appearance from that dude down in Jacksonville, Mr. Rick Horn. What's up, buddy?
What is up, guys?
How is it going?
It goes really well. First regular season
Very
game as a
well.
Seahawks fan, and it could not have gone better. Wow. I thought that was going to be an absolute shit show, but it turned out to be amazing.
I have something to say.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, we did something that Aaron Rodgers could not do, and that's beat the San Francisco 49ers.
Savage.
Made 'em look like shit.
I mean, I'm not wrong. It was a great weekend of football, guys. Both college and pro did not disappoint.
Wonderful.
We had a ton of upsets in college. If you are a college football fan, I hope you parked your ass on the couch on Saturday and sat there all damn day because it was a fucking full broadcast of football. And then Sunday, the NFL said, hey, bitches, hold my beer. Hold my beer, because we don't know who is real and who is fake yet. We thought we had an idea, but holy shit.
Here's my take.
Woo.
We know who's real and who's not.
If you're
And it's
wearing
the
a
same
jersey
teams
right now,
we
you're
thought
real.
were real at the beginning of the season. One game. I refuse to overreact.
I know. I'm not going to overreact, but I do want to at least point to some, like Indianapolis and Houston. I don't think anybody, and I know Rick picked Indy to in the Survivor League to be his winner.
All right,
because
let's rip that
Houston
Band-Aid off. Blake's the only one that survived the Survivor League.
Blake won the Survivor League in week one.
We joked about it. It happened.
It's a shame Danny's not here to share the moment with us.
Yeah, let's just rip that
It's
Band-Aid
okay.
off.
Yeah.
Double elimination now.
Speaking of ripping the Band-Aid off, it's funny that you bring that up because somebody on this show is going to be ripping something off live on stream.
I did not
on
agree
Friday
to that.
evening.
I did not agree to that.
Not you.
Who?
Danny.
Oh.
Yeah, so he lost in our...
Rick, go ahead. It's your league. You go ahead, Kamish.
Yes. So in our league, we have what is called a game of the week bet. So obviously with Blake here and a lot of my other buddies, from either previous duty stations or, civilian friends at those duty stations or, just guys that I grew up with, we're kind of all over the country. So kind of one thing that we do to make our fantasy league fun is we have what is called the game of the week. And I make all of these ridiculous highlight videos. And rather than me covering all 12 teams, just focusing on two teams, one matchup kind of helps me make content. And part of that is we have a, quote, game of the week bet. So basically what that is, it's a non-monetary bet, no money involved. And it's just whatever bet, whatever type of punishment that those two people, mutually agree to. And typically those punishments are only posted to the league Facebook page. But luckily in this case, it seems like Danny was a good steward and agreed to do it live on the BAM Sports Show. And
Excellent.
So he had a game of the week bet. His team named the Constipated Leather Daddies against Blake's Chicago Spirit Fingers. And the bet was if Blake lost, he had to wax his chest hair into the shape of a heart to the best of his ability.
Excellent.
Whereas if Danny lost, and Danny did lose, team owner of the Constipated Leather Daddies had to wax his chest hair into the shape of the Batman logo.
That's going to be more difficult.
It ought to be something. It ought to be something.
It's going to be fun, though. And I think Danny's a great sport, so I think it's not going to be like another waxing bet that we had last year.
No comment.
So, but anyways.
He who shall not be named.
No comment. We're going to leave that. We're not going to bring that up. Hopefully Thomas is watching. We love you, buddy. Congrats to your Seahawks, and you've been a long-time Seahawks fan, so congrats to you. So yeah, I mean, let's just jump into it, guys. Who, you know what? Fuck it, Ryan. After watching Week 1, because we didn't do this on Friday, so after watching Week 1, who's your Super Bowl team that wins?
Buffalo
Actually,
Bills.
give me your two Super Bowl. Give me your two. Okay, the Bills. Who do they beat?
There was not an NFC team that wowed me this week.
I agree.
You know, Tampa looked good, but it's Tampa. You know, I'm gonna say the Vikings.
That's
as
spicy.
your NFC team.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
And you got the Bills beating them, huh? What about you, Rick?
Yep.
Well, you know, I just kind of wanted to comment on what Ryan said there. So I will say their new head coach, that scheme there in Minnesota looked fantastic because, you know, we kind of talked about Kevin O'Connell. Yeah, exactly. No, he looked great in his coaching debut for the Vikings. And, you know, we had kind of talked about in previous shows that Green Bay's defense was going to be pretty, you know, pretty respectable this year.
They shredded them.
Yeah, they absolutely embarrassed them. So for me, I agree. I think that I kind of had my AFC team coming down to either the Chargers or the Bills, although I kind of lean more heavily on the Bill side. For the NFC, I agree. It's kind of slim pickings.
It's a toss-up right now.
Honestly, I think I'm going to go with the Bucks simply because of history.
Right.
I mean, Tom Brady, like pretty much every year, the year after he loses or, you know, doesn't make it to the Super Bowl or whatever, ends up making it. And he has, you know, the defense looks fine. I think that there's some rust, you know, with the new receivers there. But if you remember, whenever he first got there to Tampa, those first few weeks with those receivers looked pretty rough, you know, but ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. So I think that Tom Brady, the GOAT, figures it out and that he gets them to the Super Bowl. I don't know that he ends up. The Bills just look insane, and that defense is just disgusting.
Yeah, it was legitimately just a buzzsaw.
Yeah, it really was. So I don't know that Tom Brady figures it out. Although, you know, if anybody's going to do it, it's him. But I would say I would pick the Bucks to be my NFC team.
You know, for me with the Vikings, it's like that head coach made Kirk Cousins look like a really good choice at quarterback. Jefferson, 9 receptions, 184 yards, and 2 touchdowns. There was some big chunk plays, but like that's what he does. That's what he gives you is those big chunk plays. And you know, Dalvin Cook had 90 yards. Like it's I don't think the defense is. I think that Green Bay's receiving and their whole offense played worse than the Vikings secondary were good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, there were so many plays where Justin Jefferson was just allowed to run amok, like completely uncovered.
Oh yeah, there was one clip where he like just juked a dude like 20 yards to the side.
Yeah,
I think it was his first long touchdown where he just got open and just took it.
Yeah. No, it was.
So, guys, if you're watching, drop in the comments. Tell us who you think's going to be in the Super Bowl. So, Rick, I'm piggybacking off of you. I'm going Buffalo and Tampa. You know, Buffalo. I don't know how anyone. If you have any sort of, you know, brain and you're picking an AFC team, I don't know how you don't pick Buffalo. Buffalo looked phenomenal. I mean, you got to remember Buffalo. We thought everyone thought Buffalo was going to be good. But then they had a new offensive coordinator, right, with Daboll going to New York and Ken Dorsey taking over there. And it was like, okay, well, we're going to see the same thing. And my God, they looked good.
You know who else looked good, though?
And without Tre'Davious White.
Bears.
Kansas City
did look good. Kansas City did look good. So, but disclaimer, the only 2 games that I watched in entirety was Thursday night and Sunday night.
Right.
So I'm maybe leaning towards those two teams because that's what I saw. Then again, it's hard to bet against Tom. Julio looks like Julio.
Julio looks amazing.
Yeah, he looked
Like,
pretty good.
what in the hell? Like, he was a ghost of himself last year in Tennessee.
He's on that
Like, he
TB12
looked
diet now.
good. He's on that TB12 workout
I
in
need to
that
get on
diet,
that
and
TB12 program. Shit.
I just couldn't. It's hard to bet against them right now. I mean, Tom lost his starting left tackle in the game at the start
Yeah.
of the game. Is that right?
And he was like
Yep.
the last
So
starter,
yes, I
like
understand
actual
that.
starter.
Parsons had a great game. Don't get me wrong. But when the starting left tackle goes out of the game, that adds to it. Parsons is fantastic, and I take nothing away from him. He's a great player. Dallas has got a good defense, a shit offense, but a good defense. And I mean, you got to think you held Tom out of the end zone most of the game. They scored one touchdown the entire game. So I think it's hard to go against Buffalo or Tampa Tom. Just my
And
my
I
two.
kind of want to, I want to kind of make a point on that, about the Cowboys. Their season's pretty much over. I hate to say it,
Dunzo.
like, yeah, it's.
Yeah,
I don't know
I made
whether.
$100.
Yeah, you did, but I don't know. I really don't know what they do from here. I mean, even before Dak got hurt, he looked terrible. And I know I'm probably. In our group of friends, I probably rag on the Cowboys worse than anybody. But man, Dak looked bad even before he got hurt. Now he's going to miss 6 weeks, and he's going to come back. And the last time we saw him on the field
It's
looked
4 weeks
terrible.
if you ask Jerry Jones.
Yeah, well, whatever. We'll see what they do. I'm curious to see if they roll with Cooper Rush or if they try to bring somebody in, just to kind of on a cheap deal to fill in the gap. Or if they just
who would they
blow this
bring
thing
in?
up altogether. I mean, they could bring in Cam Newton. I don't advise that, but they could bring in Cam Newton.
He's done. We all
I
agree, right?
100%. But they could. I'm just saying.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
But no, it's and honestly, like
when Dak
if
left the
I'm the
game, I
Cowboys-
didn't. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm not so sure that I don't just blow this whole thing up and start over. They have no pieces on their offense. I mean, CeeDee Lamb looks promising.
He still didn't look that great.
Right.
No, he didn't. He definitely did not look like a number one at all. Like, they didn't respect him whatsoever. They didn't double team him at all. Like, he's not ready to be a number one.
So
You think they
when
maybe
I was
called
watching the game
DiNucci
on
again?
Sunday, I mean, yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. So when I was watching the game on Sunday, when Dak came out of the game and Cooper Rush came in, I'm watching it and I'm like, this offense looks no different.
Right.
Like, it didn't
It
look
was,
any
it was
better.
like a
It
lateral
didn't look
move.
like and that's, if you're a Dallas fan, that has got to be absolutely fucking terrible. And I'm not trying to shit on Dallas right now, but you have got
I am.
$50 million. I know you are, but you've got $50 million, right? $50+ million going to Dak next year.
Mhm.
And Cooper fucking Rush comes in the game and your offense looks the exact same. That's a problem.
It's like, if you weren't paying attention to the jersey number, you would not know that it was any different from
100%.
the game up until that
100%.
point.
Now, to be
100%.
fair, Dak was 14 of 29 for 134, did throw an interception, and Rush was 7 of 13 for 64. So, like,
But
Rush had
looking
a
at
better completion percentage.
you're
by a
looking at the
little.
totality of the game too. Like, going into the halftime, Dak was like 8 of like 20 or something, like there's something crazy for like 84 yards
Mhm.
at the half. He just looked bad. I do not envy. I love that, I love that the Cowboys are doing terrible. They are my least favorite organization in all of sports. But I do feel kind of bad for some of their fans, not all of them.
Some.
Some.
There were other
There's
games.
a diamond in a
though.
rough here and there.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
other
so
games.
let's move on. Let's move on.
What
Yep.
was your biggest surprise? Not including each of our teams winning.
I
don't
was
know
going
how
to
you
Wasn't
can't
a
say-
surprise for me because I called it.
No, I don't know how
stand
you
by
can't
it.
say the
We did
Seahawks.
call it here. I think Rick is right. I mean, I think we all expected Russell Wilson to go into Seattle and just fucking cook. Just fucking go off.
Oh, that game
And
last night.
I mean, I think that's the biggest shocker to me is
outcoached. That is an old veteran, grizzled old veteran Pete Carroll outcoaching the young behind the ears Nathaniel Hackett, who is I learned a few stats today too that made him even more sus.
I don't even know that I give Hackett or the Pete Carroll the nod as the win there. Hackett shot himself in the foot.
Yeah.
So
literally,
yes,
it's like shooting yourself
like
in the
through
foot
his
and
dick.
handing the gun to Pete Carroll and be like, "Well, yes." God, it was bad.
I'm chomping at the bit here. I got to get in here. So yes, like I wholeheartedly agree. Nathaniel Hackett, what a terrible time management. First of all, especially there at the end of the game. But what I will say is that the Seahawks look good on pretty much every phase of the game. Like on offense, defense, special teams, like they played violent as hell.
Yeah, they were fired up.
Single down. Like they were fired up. The 12s were just, I mean, they made that place absolutely hell on earth. And it was insane to watch. And Gino looked good. Gino looked really good. There was a few things
good enough.
Man, and his line of everybody wrote me off, but I didn't write back. You a dog.
Yeah, that was fantastic. But what I was going to say was
for that line, man.
What I was going to say was, you know, there was a few plays where like, okay, Gino is Gino, but there was a few times that I was actually like, oh shit, like that was actually kind of impressive. I think it was like early or maybe like towards the back end of the first quarter where the left tackle just absolutely gets like just wrecked. And Gino slides up in the pocket, like ducks underneath, you know, the guy like trying to make a tackle on him and just dumps it off to Will Disley in, you know, almost the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
You know, for a touchdown.
You know, like he is what he should be, which is like, I don't think he's going to be a world beater, but he's an old dude now. He's been in 6 different offenses, you know. This is just the next stop on his Tyrod Taylor you know, type journey where he's just going to play for every team. But I mean, he looked good. He looked good.
Really
now,
good.
I the only thing that I wonder is, were they fired up because that's who that team's identity is, or were they fired up because it was the Russell Wilson, you know, left us revenge game?
I would vote somewhere closer to the latter, but I think that said, like, I think that you'd be hard pressed not to say that they don't carry some of that momentum with them into week 2.
Mm-hmm. No, they definitely should. Who do they have next week?
Who do you guys have next week or this week?
We play. Good question. Let's see here.
Doesn't even. God,
49ers.
that schedule tattooed.
49ers.
So we're gonna know right away. Baby.
I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I feel like we probably come back down to earth. I mean, that's a division game.
Nope. I disagree. You are winning that game.
I sure hope so.
You're going to carry that intensity.
You're
going to carry that intensity
0-2.
From. You mean 2?
No, the Niners would go 0-2.
Oh, got it.
They're going to carry the intensity from the Russ fuck you game, and they're going to go into Santa Clara, and they're going to say, hey, fuck you, Trey Lance. You look like dog shit in the rain. You're going to look like dog shit out here in the California beauty.
Yeah.
Man, that fucking kills me about the Bears-Niners game.
Yeah, no,
that's now
crazy.
The national media.
I don't give a fuck about what the national media says.
It just fucking kills me.
I'm going to kind of trail back here a little bit. So on the other side, Russ still looked like Russ. Russ still cooked, but Wow, what a terrible, like, especially like right there at the end of the game. They burned like 30 seconds off the clock just to call a timeout
Yeah.
and not give your quarterback, who you just dropped a truckload of money onto,
And
a
picks.
surefire future Hall of Famer. You don't trust him to get 5 yards rather, but instead you burn 30 seconds off the clock to call a timeout to have your kicker attempt the second longest kick or field goal in NFL history.
You know what though? That some of that responsibility falls on Russ too. Like he knows the clock running. He's a fucking veteran. He knows the game. Call the timeout, dude. If your coach gonna shoot your ass, let him shoot your ass after you win.
Do you think though
No,
that the coach said,
Aaron Rodgers
hey,
would have called timeout there?
That's true.
That's
and then he
fair.
would have gotten chewed out on the sideline. Like
That's fair.
And if they would have won the game, who gives a fuck? The timeout should have been called, whether it's by the coach or by the quarterback. Like it's not a rookie or even a first or second year quarterback. Like it's Russell Wilson,
right.
dude.
It's 10 years of Russell Wilson. We know what he is.
Yeah. No, that's very true.
So
how does no timeout get called there?
My wonder with that is, Hackett's a younger dude. We tend to like stats more and like, the averages and, whatever. Like it's not just by feel. There's actual stats and numbers you can go on. And I wonder if he just got in his own head, thinking, should I, the numbers say that we should kick this field goal. We should run it down so they have no time left after we kick this field goal and, win the game so they can't come back. But like, I'm just, the thing that pisses me off the most about that whole situation is they were averaging, it's like 6.5 or 6.7 yards per play. Averaging, and they only had to go 5 yards. Like, I get what he's thinking in that situation. You get the points you can get if you're not 64 fucking yards away.
And again, if they wanted to do that, like, why not? To me, if you want to like go for the field goal, fine. But like, again, the second longest field goal in NFL history is what you're attempting. You mean to tell me that you can't try that same exact thing? Run one more play, because the Seahawks, were really, they were letting a lot of they were letting a lot of plays like get pretty good distance there, but man, they had a hell of a red zone defense.
Yeah, they do.
We're not talking. They had a hell of a red zone defense.
But they're reminiscent of the Bears a few years ago when they were real like bend but not break. Like they're giving up chunks,
but don't break,
but not letting them score.
Right, exactly. So they had a very good like bend but don't break defense. But you mean to tell me you can't get one play and then piss away, your just to get a few extra yards?
Blake and I have recently lived through Matt Nagy and John Fox and Mark Trestman. Let's be real. And so we have seen a lot. Like, I cannot stress this enough, how much gutless, cowardly play calling. Just absolute trash, gutless play calling. And it is what it is. It's fucking gutless. There's an actual, on Twitter, there's a surrender index for plays. Right. Bears have constantly ranked near the top on those. This has got to be the most gutless decision by a coach of all time.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Your dudes are averaging over 6 yards per play. And that's including the shit that goes nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, what was Russ in that game? Let me go back to it. 340 yards,
that, Ryan,
but
you had made a comment. Okay, you understand him wanting to run the clock down
in a different situation, closer.
Yeah.
Okay,
like
but
closer,
here's the
sure.
thing. Whether it's even if he makes the field goal, like, okay, that means you, Coach Hackett, had no faith in your defense from stopping Geno fucking Smith and the Seahawks in 4 plays from getting into field goal range?
Yeah, it
Like, do you see what I'm saying?
it
There's just there's so much head scratching from it.
was just
Yeah.
bad.
So much head scratching.
And this is, mind you,
Denver have
I
this
am
week?
I'm reaching here. I'm really reaching. But I'm wondering if in his mind, did he worry that, it's a big play, like, you're already super nervous and super antsy and everything. And the fact that the 12s were already, I mean, like how many, like false starts did they get, or
He froze for sure.
shit like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, because of just I mean, there was times like I had hard time hearing the announcers, like, during the game. So I wonder, was he like, well, if I try to run this play, we don't communicate, we're going to, get set back 5 yards or whatever it was anyway. So let me just go ahead and call my shot right here.
Russ was 29 of 42 for 340 yards and a touchdown. And you don't try?
Yeah.
You just fucking give up?
Yeah.
64 yards.
Yeah. No, Nathaniel Hackett is the midget hooker of the week.
If you really thought you could go into Seattle, a place that is at fucking sea level, and have your dude kick a field goal longer than he's ever made in any game in any stadium, Denver in fucking included, it's just he's a piss poor talent, evaluator at that point, I guess.
Yeah.
If you would rather trust the leg of a dude that has never fucking done that over your Hall of Fame quarterback that you just spent the fucking Brinks truck on.
Right. And I don't want to take any shots at Brandon McManus here, because he's a solid kicker.
No, he shouldn't have been in that position.
But he's got a big ass leg, but he should not have been in that position. Now
he shouldn't have even been in that position if they played in Denver. Lots of people can have the distance.
He missed
he did
by
have
like a foot.
Yeah,
he missed it by a little more than a foot.
So hats off to McManus for trying to be that hero.
No, for
sure. Did you see John Schneider standing in the fucking end zone?
No, I didn't. He was
didn't
pissed.
see that.
Or no,
straight
he was
up
mad or angry.
Yeah, he's standing.
Happy.
He's standing in the end zone, arms crossed, watching the kick.
Yeah. But no, it was exciting, and like you said, I loved that thing there at the end of the game with Geno. They wrote me off, but I ain't right back. That was pretty cool.
It was a hell of a game. It was a hell of a way to end the week.
Yeah, I was shocked. I thought it was going to be a bloodbath, but that whole game up until Nathaniel Hackett decided to be a midget hooker at the end of the game, that game, it was a quality game to watch. It really was.
There's a lot of good games this weekend.
Yeah,
that's like my favorite thing about opening weekend. There's always crazy upsets. Yeah, this past weekend.
Well, you never really you never know what you're going to get with teams. Yeah,
it's a fresh book.
I think you called the Lions to beat the Eagles. I didn't see it because I think the Eagles are going to win the East and probably the best team in that division.
Mm-hmm.
But the Lions played them tough.
They played a hell of a fight.
They put up a hell of a fight. They're okay.
And
I'm excited.
I'll kind of harken back to a comment I made about the Lions earlier. As much as I know we all like to shit on the Lions, a lot of their games last year were like 1-score losses.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't.
They're a quarterback away from being like a scary fucking team.
They really are.
Yeah.
I mean, similar to Denver. Yeah. I think so similar to the sentiments that we were saying about Denver for the longest time. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff's obviously not it, but no, they played them tough as hell.
Yeah, it was just a great
Jared
weekend.
Goff was serviceable.
Yeah.
Couple of touchdowns.
Yeah. He's going to be a not lose the game for you kind of quarter. He's not going to be a win it for you.
That's, to be fair, that's what he was in Los
Yes,
Angeles
100%.
as well.
That's what he is. I mean,
Yeah.
So but great weekend, college football. We had some big upsets there. We had Notre Dame losing to Marshall at home, which was fucking insane. Marshall got
Wait a
paid
goddamn minute.
$1.5 million. What?
Wait a goddamn minute, Blake. You're going to fucking tell me that we're just going to brush past the Bears beating the fucking 49ers? We let Rick talk about his Seahawks, and you're just going to fucking brush past this fucking game. And not to mention, brush past the Vikings and Packers game.
Or the Bengals and Steelers.
Yeah, fine. Fuck it. All right. Where do you want to start? Let's start.
That was the wettest fucking game I have ever watched in my life.
Yeah.
Both.
And I watched a game.
Stadium.
I watched a game that they played like literally during a hurricane a few years ago. That was the wettest game I've ever seen.
I didn't watch any of it. I listened to it.
The Bears game, you didn't?
I didn't know. We were working on the fucking shed on the property. But I had an AirPod in and had Hulu playing through my phone.
There you go. That's, you at least got to listen.
Responsibilities and all that. But I mean,
there's some plays that Justin Fields made that, like, I am even more of a believer now. There was one play in particular that I think was one of the best plays of the weekend, and it was a small play. The line was collapsing. It was in the first quarter, and it was just he pulled the ball in and then literally just like underarm sidearmed it under a defender's arm to David Montgomery for a 5-yard chunk. Just the poise he had with the whole fucking line crashing around him to make that throw in that perfect of a spot. He wasn't perfect. It was raining, but he made the plays when he had to make the plays. The best thing about the whole game, they made second half adjustments.
Yes.
When they played their scripted game. When they played their scripted offensive game, it was shades of a Matt Nagy offense. And they started getting a little better by the end of the half, but then they made those adjustments, and it's like a light bulb switched on in Fields' head, and he was like, all right, this is my fucking game now. And he controlled it.
It's amazing. It's amazing what can happen whenever you fire Matt Nagy.
Yes. That being said, though, he was the quarterback coach for a guy that just threw 5 touchdowns and 400 yards.
Yeah, but Mahomes
He's
also
Patrick
did that shit
Mahomes,
last year
though.
without Nagy. Let's be fucking honest. Had nothing to do with fucking Matt.
That's true.
So here's the thing that I took away. So, I saw a comment on, I think it was Twitter, and someone's like, well, the Bears only won because of 2 big plays. No, the Bears won because the defense shut down San Francisco in the second half.
And our offensive line shut down what is arguably one of the top 3 front sevens in football.
They had the highest win rate of all offensive lines.
You've got a rookie and 2 second-year guys on that line.
They did nothing to fix that line.
Nope, that line is the worst line in football.
And the other thing that stood out to me is, like I said, I didn't watch the game, but I could hear it, and you could hear the energy. I looked at my father-in-law when there was like 8 minutes or 9 minutes left in the game, and I looked at him. He couldn't hear the game because I had my AirPod in, and I was like, even if the Bears lose this game, it's been night and day from what we saw last year. They were fighting
their asses off.
Yeah,
and the another great thing that is a completely opposite feel from last year: 3 penalties.
Right.
One of those penalties was on purpose. One of them was the dumbest penalty call in all of football history. The towel. Absolutely fucking bonkers, obscure rule.
Did you hear about that, Rick?
No.
Our rookie punter and holder brought out a big towel because it was literally a puddle where Santos was supposed to be kicking from. And by the rule, he actually I think it was the size of the towel is what screwed him on it. But like by rule, he could have done that.
Huh.
But he brought a towel out and soaked up the water and he flung it to the side. And I think the law of the rule states it's got to be an 8x8 towel, like you're no bigger than that.
Right.
Well, maybe not 8x8, but like
Right.
a smaller towel, and you have to fold it back into your belt. Like where they usually have their towel on their side.
To the side.
Yeah, and he just flipped it to the side, and it was a huge towel. It looked like a fucking beach towel, just laying there next to the
homeboy went out there, the fucking beach towel.
That's
and it was a very dumb play, but like they were sound. It was sound, effective. Like everybody fought and played football, and it has gotten me very pumped for this team. Like what a difference a new coaching staff makes. And Justin Fields gave out 2 game balls, one to Matt Eberflus and one to Ryan Poles. So
really,
yeah.
Thank you for firing Adam or Matt Nagy.
Yeah. Also, Matt Eberflus so far in his head coaching career, preseason included,
4-0,
undefeated.
Yeah,
you know what though? It's gonna come down to this weekend, right? Like can we finally get this stupid bitch off of our back?
Yes. I'm going to that game.
Yes.
I am manifesting a win. I'm looking at what I saw last week, and I think that the Bears defense is good enough to piss Rodgers off enough to make him pissy pants faced like he was this weekend against the Vikings.
I'll say this much.
I'm here for it.
This is your window to do it because I think, some of the, maybe to a much lesser degree, for some of the sentiments I made about Tom Brady earlier, not really having a ton of chemistry with some of the newer weapons that he has there, like Julio and like Russell Gage and stuff like that. To a lesser degree, I think that the same will probably be true for Aaron Rodgers because there have been games that he played without Devontae Adams and still killed it. He was without Lazard this past week.
He should be back this week.
So I think if you're going to put one on Aaron Rodgers, like this is your chance. I'm curious to see not only how y'all do this, this upcoming weekend, but that second game that y'all play against him will really tell the tale.
Yeah.
It really will.
I really have, and I'm not just being a Homer Bears fan. I'm looking at, the 49er or the Bears 49ers game, ultimately really was kind of a stinker. It was disgusting weather. It was low scoring. The Bears held and did well in the areas that they should have done well. Fields took a huge step forward, but more than that, I think that the Packers looked like how I thought the Packers were going to look like early in the season. There's no wide receivers.
Yeah.
Sammy Watkins looks slow, old, and fat. Like you're not getting the Sammy Watkins you wanted. You're getting this Sammy Watkins. Christian Watson is one of the fast. I think he had the 3rd fastest, running speed clocked this weekend at like 20.3 miles per hour.
Yeah.
But if he can't catch a goddamn ball,
I mean, it went right into his hands. Like it was a beautiful throw by Rodgers.
Pass. It was a perfect pass. It was in the exact area for him to just keep running. If he would have caught that is a no-doubter touchdown.
Which is scary.
But like the craziest thing to me, and I've noticed it for a very long time with Aaron Rodgers, is if you can get into his head and you can make him, pissy pants, he's bringing that entire fucking team down with him because he's not a fucking leader.
Yeah, he's not like Tom Brady.
Justin Fields got hit once this weekend on a slide. He got hit twice, but one time in particular, the entire offense was around him.
Yeah.
Which is fucking different than last year.
Exactly. Like the defense is out there seeing Fields play, and they're like, all right, we got to make a play for our guy. But when you see Aaron Rodgers like yelling at his guy or pissy pants faced, it's going to bring the whole team down because he's just not a leader. He's an excellent football player. He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, but he's not a fucking leader.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wholeheartedly
And throughout
agree. It's gonna be
Fields'
interesting.
history, anybody that's talked about him has said his leadership is next fucking level.
I will say this much about
Well,
the
I'm glad
Packers.
that-
I will say this much about the Packers. AJ Dillon. I have him in quite literally every single one of my fantasy leagues, which wasn't on purpose. So one league, he ended up being auto drafted to my roster. But AJ Dillon, like, pretty much was the Packers offense.
Yeah.
And I am for fantasy, I am super excited for AJ Dillon this year.
I think they're kind of flip-flopping them now, right? It feels like Dillon is going to supplant Jones as your one.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to be your main guy.
I mean, he's a beast of a man. He's basically, I mean, I think he's like the same size as Derrick Henry, but with softer hands.
Yeah, his legs are insane.
Because he caught, like, even this past game, I know, like, he was kind of lauded in the offseason of having like 92% catch rate on like the 30 some odd passes that he had targeted to him last year. Well, this game against the Vikings, 5 out of 6 targets. It ended up I think he out-touched. He was more productive than Aaron Jones as a whole. I think Aaron Jones is out there for more passing runs, but he was the Packers' leading receiver. He definitely outrushed Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones is out there on more passing routes than AJ Dillon. But AJ Dillon caught more passes. I think Aaron Jones, like,
Jones had 5 attempts for 49. Dillon had 10 attempts for 45 and a touchdown. And then
he should have had 2.
Yeah, he should have. But as far as receiving goes, it was pretty close. Dillon had 6 targets. Jones had 5. Dillon caught 5 and Jones caught 3.
Yeah.
So
I think there's a changing of the guard there, and I'm super excited for fantasy purposes for AJ Dillon because I got him relatively late in all of my drafts.
A lot of people did. He was a huge value. Him and Alexander Madison.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that you're going to see. I mean, Cook looked fantastic today. Like,
he is
this
so
weekend.
damn shifty. My
God. Dude, and fast.
Yeah.
Like, he's explosive.
He really is. I mean, the guy just turns on a dime. It's crazy.
But Madison and Dillon have got to be 2 of the best backup running backs in the league.
Oh, by far. But I think Dillon has more standalone value
over Madison.
Than Madison does.
If I'm starting him in a team, like, he's my starter on a football team, not a fantasy team, I'm ranking it. Dillon's my 1, Madison's my 2 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dillon,
I just couldn't
Dillon's
believe
gonna be a beast.
How shredded the Packers defense became.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we sat on this show and we banged a drum saying the Packers defense was going to be a strength of that team, and it was not.
Yeah.
Like, it was not a strength this weekend. And
not at
again,
all.
that's not me trying to talk shit.
Now, I think that they're going to be better against the Bears. I don't think it's going to be an easy win for the Bears, obviously.
No.
Lazard's coming back. There's a really good chance it's at home. Aaron Rodgers just got embarrassed on national TV again in week 1 again. And, like,
I'm pissed off.
I still think that if he can start connecting with these receivers, I still think they could be your Super Bowl, your NFC champion.
No, they won't. They won't go to the Super Bowl. They may make the playoffs.
Hackett's gone. Hackett's out.
We know how
that was the problem. That was the problem.
Clearly we saw evidence of that yesterday.
Yeah.
But it does sound like Lazard might be back week 2.
But Bach and another lineman are still out, right?
Yeah. I don't. We'll get our first. It's Tuesday. We'll get our first injury reports tomorrow on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So it's we'll see. But I definitely do feel very confident in this team. And I had said that at the beginning of the year. I'm way more, I think, bullish. Is that the like I'm fucking all for 'em boys? This Bears team.
Man, that picture of Justin Fields sliding in the rain too. Swan diving, man.
It's so good. Did you see everybody on that sideline coming after him, running with him?
Dude.
Time will tell.
It's a different
it
feel.
should be interesting.
We'll
it's a different feeling, for sure. It feels better.
This whole, I mean, mind you, it's week 1, right? You know, Overreaction Tuesday, but like not just for our respective teams, but the NFL this year as a whole just feels very different. And I think a lot of that obviously can be contributed to the fact that there were so many moves this offseason. It was crazy. The AFC West, it seems like it was an arms race. But I don't know. Like something about it just feels very different. But one thing that has remained, sorry, I got to do it again. The Cowboys still look like shit.
Yep.
So just going to put that out there.
Listen, they got former Packers coach Mike McCarthy running that team. So
God, not for long.
If I'm a Cowboys fan, I kind of almost want Jason Garrett back.
You know, it was so funny. Speaking of Jason Garrett, so like right before the game, they had like the Monday Night Football crew, like everybody, you know, making their picks as to who was going to win. And literally, Jason Garrett was the only one that picked the Dallas Football Cowboys. You know how like people say like the New York Football Giants, like this dumbass. The Dallas Football Cowboys.
Right, like there was another Cowboys. Yeah.
Right.
So
I was like, what a dumbass. He's the only one that picks him. And then Tony Dungy's like sitting up there like looking at him.
So we talked on fantasy just kind of briefly there with AJ Dillon and stuff. The people want to know, Ryan, Listener League week 1.
I didn't see a single goddamn comment. I think you just want to brag. And your team that I fucking came in 20 minutes late on and had already skipped 8 goddamn rounds.
Hey, look. I don't make the rules, baby. I just play by them.
When you do make the rule, it's your league. You're the one that set the rules.
Okay, well that's fair.
You typically you give somebody 30 seconds, and then if they don't pick, and if that was the case, it would have mathed out properly for me to come in the 3rd round instead of the 8th round.
So you have 1 minute in the first round. If you do not make a selection and you auto pick in the first round, then it automatically instantly auto picks for you after that until you log into the draft. Anyways, had the highest score in that league, had highest score in the other league, and lost to Brian in one league. So 2-1 for me this weekend.
Yeah, well, guess what? My halfway auto draft team had the 3rd highest score this week.
Unfortunately, you played the highest.
I am sad to say still I am psyched. 1-3 this week. I'm 1-3. And the one game that I won, it was me and it was the 2 lowest scoring teams on the week. And I just happened to be the 2nd lowest. But my guys shit the bed. But I feel like I like my rosters. Like I like all of my rosters. I think that a lot of things just didn't break my way, you know, with players that you would have expected to do really well. Tom Brady obviously didn't do, for fantasy purposes, all that great. I had Austin Eckler in 1 league, Mike Williams in 2 leagues. Mike Williams kind of shit the bed. And just a lot of stuff that kind of just didn't break my way. But I feel like brighter days are ahead for sure.
Hey,
how many leagues are you in, Blake?
3.
What was your record this weekend?
2-1.
2-1, nice. I was 2-4.
Oof.
Yeah. Oof. Luckily, one of those was my league that I just steamrolled every fucking team there and scored almost 100 more points than the team I played. Yeah, I'm gonna win again. I might go undefeated.
Did you the 2nd highest score in that league, in that listener league? Did you see who it was? What team it was?
Yeah, it was Well, let me go back to it. Oh, God damn it. You're in ESPN. St. Louis Smalls, Jessica. Yeah. Yeah.
It's my wife.
Did you draft that team too?
I did not. She auto-picked the whole thing.
You've got
So,
to be kidding me.
it looks
yes,
like
Austin did smoke me.
I was just about to bring that
No
up.
shame. No shame.
Nicely done, Austin. Nicely done.
Well done. Well done, Austin. We appreciate you for beating Ryan in another league. So I handed you an L. Austin handed you an L. We just need to get you in a league with Rick so Rick can hand you the L.
Next year for sure.
Keith wants everybody to know that Ryan also scored the least amount of points.
In that league?
No shame, man. I scored the second least amount of points in my one win this week.
Hey,
so I avoided the that's another thing that we have in that league that me, Blake, and Danny are in. We have a thing called the midget hooker of the week, who's like whoever the lowest scoring person is. And then whoever's dead last gets the midget hooker of the year with this 4X size t-shirt, like bright pink t-shirt with a great big unicorn on it that says like I suck at fantasy football. And we have like whoever it is autograph it and mail it to the next guy. So hopefully I don't end up a midget hooker this year.
I'd be okay with it. It'd fit your theme with the lot lizards.
I mean, it would be. It would kind of fit.
So Thursday night, who's playing?
Thursday night, I believe it's. I thought it was.
We'll go back to it.
And we're back on Amazon Prime this Thursday.
Chargers Chiefs.
Ooh,
another real good one.
Ooh, that's a great game.
Man, did the NFL say, "All right, fuck work on Fridays. We're gonna put all these fire games on Thursday"? Like,
well, because usually, like Thursday,
it pisses
night,
me off, by the
Thursday,
way, because I play softball on Thursdays, so I'm gonna miss most of it.
Yeah, usually, like traditionally speaking, like a lot of those Monday and Thursday night football games are like the Jets and the fucking Lions, like teams like that. Teams that, normally don't get a ton of coverage because nobody gives a shit to watch them on Sundays when everybody else is playing. But they threw caution to the wind, and I'm glad that they did, in making these great matchups for Thursday night football, at least early on.
It's just entertaining.
Like,
it's exciting. Like Thursday night football, I would have watched fucking anyways, right? But now I'm like, okay, like 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm like, all right, let's fucking go. Let's,
Right, I'm like excited for it.
And it'll be my first chance to watch the Chargers live this year, so I'll be excited to watch that one.
Yeah, that's one thing I do kind of hate about living on the East Coast now. It's kind of like a reverse of like some of the woes that I had in California. Is I missed a lot of the earlier games
because they're like 10 a.m.
Right. But then down here, now I miss, like the Sunday night and probably Monday and Thursday night as well, if it weren't for, me being out on a work trip right now. But yeah.
Keith, I don't know what you're referring to on that comment.
The schedule. Like, I think it means like, I don't know. I think week 3, Steelers Browns, that's always a good battle.
Divisional game.
Divisional game, yeah.
But week 2, you've got Thursday, you got Chargers and Chiefs. Panthers and Giants. Who do you got Chargers Chiefs?
Well, hold on. We'll pick games for Friday. We'll pick games on Friday.
We got to pick this game today.
Oh, Chargers Chiefs? That's
yeah.
I'm going to say Chiefs because it sounds like Keenan Allen's probably going to miss that game.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Also, the Chiefs somehow look better without Tyreek Hill. They were way more efficient. They just looked better.
To be fair, though, like Arizona has an okay defense, but they're not great. I mean, and especially like losing Chandler Jones, like they lose some of that pressure that they were able to create. JJ Watt is, pretty much a shell. I mean, I love JJ Watt to death. Don't get me wrong. He's still good, but he's essentially, a shell of himself. So, and that's not to take anything away from the Chiefs. Like they looked insane, but I think that I don't think that they're going to be able to put up, although you never know. He might. Patrick Mahomes very well might, but I have trouble believing that he's just going to absolutely mollywop the Chargers defense the same way that he did the Cardinals defense.
I was getting ready to say that Chargers defense is much more stout than Arizona.
They didn't look like it that stout against the Raiders.
That's fair too.
Divisional game, like
this is a divisional game coming up too.
That's true. Touche.
And it's in Kansas City. Those motherfuckers are going to be hyped up on Thursday beers and fucking hot dogs and ribs.
And Arrowhead's a tough stadium to play at.
Yeah.
Still pulling Chargers. Who are you pulling for, Ryan? Or who are you thinking?
For that game?
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Did you say it? Oh, did you say Chiefs?
Yeah, Chiefs.
I'm pulling for the Chargers.
Only Chargers?
I'm pulling for the Chargers, but if I had to make a prediction, I'd probably say the Chiefs. Keenan Allen being gone, it's not going to be fun.
That Chargers defense let Derek Carr throw for almost 300.
Derek Carr's not a bad quarterback.
And again, you have
but
Devontae
if Derek
Adams.
Carr threw for almost 300, what do you think Patrick fucking Mahomes is going to throw for?
Well, but again, he has Devontae Adams.
What are you looking for?
Trying to figure out who's backing down my fucking driveway.
I like how it's slightly zoomed in a little bit. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I was like, huh? It's his
it's my autofocus. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah, it just like zoom. Like that's
not including well, I guess if you want to talk the weekend schedule on Friday, we can.
Yeah, we'll talk weekend schedule on Friday.
Take all my fun away. Go ahead.
I will say last, kind of plug that I'll make for the Chargers Chiefs game is, it sucks for Keenan Allen being out, but again, me having Mike Williams in, I think 2 of my fantasy leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm.
That might be nice for you, dude.
Yeah,
he wasn't nice this weekend.
No, but I mean, last year he was. Mike Williams was making some noise last year, and they just gave him a bag. So, I'm hoping. I mean, they're gonna have to pass the ball a lot. So I'm hoping that Mike Williams, pulls in some money for me this week.
Before we move on from football, let's just run through the injury list real quick.
Yeah,
Dak Prescott.
Yeah. Move on from football. Move on from the show. I mean,
I was gonna say, yeah, we've been on for an hour. Dak's out 6 to 8. This is the same surgery that Drew Brees had, and he was ready to come. And he was old at that time. Dak's younger. He's 29. He's going to heal a little quicker. Brees was ready to come back in 4 weeks. They held him out for 5. He's not going on IR for it.
Brees is a man, though. Dak's a bitch.
Oh, Dak.
I stand behind my comments,
package.
Rick.
I
stand behind my
agree.
comments.
And also,
dogs are going.
Dak
nuts.
is not Drew. Yeah. All joking aside, Dak is not Drew Brees.
Well,
Dak
no, but this is just his human body.
Yeah.
Right, it also sounds like they are losing their starting left tackle. Had a high ankle sprain. The big one, TJ Watt.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead. While they're still waiting for their 40-year-old Jason Peters to be ready to make his Cowboys debut.
Hey, you know what? He's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, absolutely.
TJ Watt.
That's some good news there.
Minorly torn pec. They thought it was going to be much worse. They don't think he's going to miss the season. They kind of hit a best case scenario thing.
Couple of weeks.
Mac Jones, back injury. X-rays were negative, which always is a confusing thing at first when you think about it. I feel like if the X-rays were negative, it would be like, oh, that's a bad thing.
Right.
X-rays were positive. It's looking good. X-rays were negative. It's not looking great.
You're HIV positive.
Keenan Allen, hamstring. Harrison Butker got hurt, and who'd they have kicking for him in an emergency?
I didn't see. I didn't actually watch that game, so I didn't see.
I forgot about that.
Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep saying that every time a kicker comes up.
Chris Godwin, hamstring. Donovan Smith, elbow. was hurt. Something to monitor. Both of them are not on IR yet, but Dwayne Brown's already on IR. Hurt his
Justin
shoulder.
Reed.
Go ahead.
I don't know. Keith saying Justin Reed.
What, he got hurt? I'm not seeing it on here, but that doesn't mean I don't have everything on. Elijah Mitchell is out on IR. He hurt his knee in the slop mess that was Soldier Field. Oh, Justin Reed was the emergency kicker. Gotcha. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because isn't he a safety?
Yeah,
Yes.
he is. He's a former
D-back,
Texan,
right? Yeah.
Well, now Blankenship's available.
Yeah, that's true. He has hit the market.
He's a free agent. Man, I'm fucking stoked for Thursday.
Yeah. I think
That's
I've
gonna be a
talked
great
more on
game.
this show tonight than I have in any other show because I'm so fired up about the NFL being back.
It's
Likewise.
exciting, man. Like, we made it. We made it. And like Rick, you said, I think it was on Friday, you're like, every season is football season now. Like, we've made it. Like,
We're
got
in
college and
football world
pro,
now.
then we'll have XFL, USFL, and then we're right back to college ball. We're a sports show. We talk all sorts of sports, but we're primarily a football show because that's what we all know and love. And we made it. I'm excited, and I'm glad that for at least for the first 2 weeks of Thursday Night Football, we're going to have two great games between the Bills and the Rams, and then this week with the Chargers and the Chiefs. They're looking good.
I agree.
So don't forget, guys, we are now a member of the Let's Talk Sports family. So we will be hosted on their Roku channel, Apple TV, and on their YouTube channel. So make sure you head over there and give them a subscription, and make sure you give them a like and all that fun stuff.
And also give us a like.
Yeah, give us a like. And tell us
hit
in the comments.
The little notification thing.
Tell us in the comments how good looking we are.
You don't have to tell me. I already know.
Wow.
Be sure to share and subscribe right down there.
Yeah. Look at if we can all point in that same direction. Over there. If you're just listening to this episode, we severely apologize because there are three idiots right now pointing to the bottom of the screen right now. So, guys, we appreciate you as always. Make sure you check out the link in the description for our merchandise store, the shirts and koozies and all that fun stuff. We'll be having more stuff coming out here soon for you guys. We'll be back on Friday night. More football talk. Can't wait to digest that Chiefs-Chargers game.
Yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
guys. Well, any closing thoughts before we go?
The Las Vegas Aces are up 2-0 on the some team Suns in the WNBA finals. There.
2-0?
We talked other. Yeah. Like the series. It's the finals. 2 games to nothing.
I was like,
now,
yeah, if it's
we
a
are more than
game.
a football show today.
Yeah.
And the Cubs beat DeGrom.
Cubs beat DeGrom. Judge hit 56 and 57.
And
Albert
right
Pujols
before I left for my work.
Fucking 100.
Huh?
Then Albert Pujols is trying to get to fucking 900.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Rick?
Right before I left for my work trip, I volunteered at a Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp game, and the Jacksonville Shrimp beat the Iowa Cubs. So,
hey, Rick.
Yeah.
It's football season, man.
Shit on
Nobody
it.
Nobody cares about baseball right now, Rick. It's football season. Come on, get with the program.
Did you get that Brandon Davis autograph like I asked?
No, I told you I was working.
Oh, yes, he should have got it.
Jesus Christ.
I have too much power with this. It's so much fun. All
Rick,
right, guys.
We'll chat later, Rick. We'll start our mutiny soon.
There are more of us than there are of him.
It's true. We have plenty more toes as well.
Oh,
look, you only got one more toe than me, you dick.
Well, yeah, but when you combine the rest of us between me, Ryan, Danny, and Rob, we have 4 more toes than you.
You're still a dick. All right, guys, we're back on Friday. We appreciate you as always. Much love. See you guys.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace.